is a total nightmare. Just dodge and leave. You got this. What's your plan for taking it down?
really feel about her and see what happened to your ass. She not gonna go for it, bruh. She not going. I'm trying to tell you, she not going for it. Okay? We don't like to take accountability for shit. Call in your own intervention. Bing. Bam. I did this. My children were so honest, but my siblings could not, and we tried twice with the siblings. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they were afraid to be honest with you. Miss Pinky says, yes, she did, but it was my second time asking by then. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I feel like that was one of the most painful experiences, but at the same time, best experiences that I've ever had, because I had to walk through that fire. Because here's the truth. We never really see ourselves. We never really see ourselves. And so you thinking that everything is cool, and you thinking one thing, and then when your people talk to you, you're like, well, damn, I mean, yeah, that's true what you're saying, but damn, I didn't know that's the way it was coming. It was coming off like that. Wow. Let me go sit down for a minute. Let me reassess. You know? SGK, I don't know if that's odd or not. I really don't know what to say because I don't know you as a person. I be asking like, damn, how my kids view me, that shit put me in check quick. Mine gets really defensive when I bring up stuff from my childhood. Yeah. I just really wanted to know how they truly felt. You know what I'm saying? Look, we all have our days, right? We all have our days. I definitely could be an ass. Okay? I definitely could be an ass. All right? Not even going, okay? I'm not even going to pretend. Okay? So I knew that I had some stuff with me that I needed to work on. I understood that, which is why I took the time out to reach out and ask them on a very real level. And it's brought me on a beautiful healing journey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been healing a lot longer than that, but when it came to me wanting to really get down with the get down, because some people say they heal, but they're doing like surface level healing. Oh, I'm just going to heal this part right here, but I'm not going to look at this other stuff over here because I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to just jump around that and do this here. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Talking about I'm doing shadow work until they hit my quantum shadow work course. And then it gets real for them. It gets super real for them then. Then they be like, oh, I thought I was doing some real, I thought I was doing some real shadow. No, baby, you weren't doing any real shadow. No, you weren't doing that. you weren't hitting those traumas, those spots that you like to hide from. Yeah, you wasn't dealing with that. Yeah, your shadow was on one with you. Your shadow cussing your ass out right now. I can hear your shadow going in on you right now. Your shadow's going in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that was like the last piece of the part that I think that when I started that journey, that part of the journey in healing, that was the catalyst to really have me do a deep dive on self on a very real, transparent level. And I cried a lot. I let a lot of things go. And I was able to reconcile those traumas with self. I was able to integrate my shadow. Me and my shadow have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to my shadow. My shadow talks back to me. And also my inner child. Me and my inner child have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? So, but it wasn't easy to get there. It took some work.
It always does take work. There's a lot of people who don't want to do work.
Yeah, even that shadow work book you recommended, and it ain't no joke. That first page had me stuck a long time. I told y'all before, I couldn't get out of anger for a whole year in that book. I just put the book down. Because I was like, I'm not ready to not be angry right now because of some things that were done. I'm going to stay in that for a minute. So I'm going to put the book down. And when I'm done and when I'm ready to deal with that, then I'll.
Yeah, I remember when I went through that anger phase. I got to the point where I was like, what? I asked myself this question. Why am I going to praise somebody for getting me out of character? That's all that you're doing. You're giving them more energy by staying mad. Like, it doesn't make sense. And the question verbatim that I asked myself was, why are you why are you giving this person satisfaction to continue draining you based on what they did to you? I'm literally giving them power, giving them energy. I'm praising them for upsetting me. That's all that anger is. I'm feeding into them more. The fuck for? I was like, nah, I'm good. Miss me with that noise. Take it away. I was like, you know what? If you want to punish them, be happy. Forgive yourself and be happy. You'll notice a lot of people move away from you when you do that. Because people want drama and all that other stuff in the world. I ain't about that. Many years, I'm like, I don't do drama. I've had people lie on me, a whole bunch of other stuff, trying to get me to turn into something that they want me to be, that they want to portray me as. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just remove myself. I ain't got time for this. Like, y'all want to act like that and do all that? Y'all do y'all thing. I'm like, even with people who want to believe lies against me, it's like, that's fine. I'm not here to prove to anybody who I am. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what my morals, values, and beliefs are. I don't move like other people move. I move out of love. And I mean, even though people want to do me dirty, I just remove myself from them. It's just that simple. I don't, yeah. I feel like Shikamaru sometimes. It's too much, it takes too much energy to get to really like care sometimes about stupid shit. It takes too much energy to care about stupid shit, period. Nah, I'm messing with that. I'm good.
Come back around to it. It took 1 year. It took me having to go see some shamans, going through different rituals, taking plant medicine, all types of shit, because I was very angry at someone and highly offended.
Yes.
Highly offended to the deepest level of being offended.
That part.
Because of what they did to me. And then I found out later more shit that they did that they think that I don't know anything about.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
But I'm going to tell you something. That time period was the worst time period of my life to have someone actually come at you when your family member dies. And then they distance themselves from you. Talk crazy about you on social media. Disrespect you when they knew that you were down for no reason. You didn't ask for it, only to find out that this person was your hidden enemy the entire time and sat out to destroy you.
There's a lot of those. Right,
and you didn't even know that person was, I didn't even know that person was I had no idea.
This about to, like, all day today, sitting in this room, like, I keep feeling something over there. And I don't, it's like, I can feel it. I can feel it to the point to where I can almost make out a silhouette of what it is. When I look, there's nothing there. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's getting on my nerves. Like, I know something's there. I just don't know exactly what. I'm like, it's not bothering me. You just want to sit over there and watch me, then be a creep. It's fine.
When I tell you that I was hot for a whole year, and it wasn't just that individual, it was like 2 other individuals. So it was like I was catching it from 3 different angles, and it was really centered around jealousy. When I tell you my ass was hot for a whole year, I was not forgiving nobody. The name of the book is called Momentum. by Quinn Barber. And you know what's funny about that? It wasn't until after I came out of that anger, I actually found out what they did behind the scenes, behind my back, after I was done being angry with him. But let's just say I got the last laugh in that situation. You know, the funny thing about justice is that when you leave things alone, things have a way of coming back around full circle to bite somebody in the ass. And let's just say that person got their karma. It may not be loud for the world to see like it was when I was attacked, but it's definitely whipping their behinds right now. And it was funny because after that, you know, you would think that a person will be rejoicing and all that. And actually, it was more so like, oh, that's what you did? Oh, you did that? Yeah, I'm pissed off at you. But the shit that you got coming to you now is going to be 20 times worse than what I ever experienced. And that's exactly what's going on with them right now. Life took care of it for me. And I kept healing. Now this person is a distant thought, not even a thought. And I kept going. I noticed people that hurt me got their ass whooped immediately after I went right into healing. When you decide that you're going to heal, your protection stands in and helps out and starts handling the business, starts handling your enemies and things like that. That's what happened with me. When I decided I was going to go through my healing process, my protection stepped in and started handling a lot of people. A lot of folks was getting messed up out here. They thought I was doing something to them. I wasn't doing anything to them at all. They thought that I was, but I wasn't. The world gonna do a better job than we can most of the times. That's true. What goes around comes around. God sees all, and vengeance is His. So it's best to sit it out and heal. Well, my ancestors actually went to commit the whipping that ass. Actually, my ancestors were the ones who actually brought that justice down on his head. My ancestors brought that ass whipping down on that head. Okay? I'm going to tell y'all right now, my ancestors took care of that. And you know, whether or not you guys know this or not, your ancestors are not just your bloodline ancestors. These are your cosmic ancestors. These are the ancestors in your bloodline that are gods. These are ancestors in your bloodline that are elementals. These are ancestors in your bloodline that are different type of species of extraterrestrials. All of them are your ancestors. You got to remember, originals. You come from this. You from the cosmos. You made from stardust, baby.
She said stardust.
So when someone coming for you, they got to deal with all of that. Not a good look. Not a good look. I offer a cosmic reading if you want to get one done. Then no, they don't play no games. You cannot hide. Rich Rising, powerful goddess, peace, light, and love and healing. Hey, Mr. God Frequency. When you are healed, you are at such peace, nothing can trigger you. I do want to say this one thing, though. There is no such thing as being completely healed. You will always continue to heal.
Yes.
Always.
Constantly. There's always things happening. Somebody to say that they are completely healed. Why you always lying?
Why do we have so many bloodlines? Oh, darling. Originals have so many bloodlines because we're ancient. And you've had many different reincarnated lives being many different reincarnated beings. So who you were in this lifetime, you may have been an Arcturian. Who you are in this other lifetime, you might have been a Palladian. Who you are in this other lifetime, you might have been an angel. They're all still a part of you. All those versions of yourself still live within you. You're a multi-dimensional being. You're not one-dimensional. So if you're a multi-dimensional being, well then, that would make sense as to why you have so many lines. It's what makes you you. And the truth of the matter is, there's nobody like us.
There isn't.
We're not like everybody else. Our genetic is not the same. Our genetics are not the same.
What did you say? We are not the same.
That's crazy because your son said, I have an ancient voice. And you probably do. For a long time, I detached from a lot of things in life. At age 18, I tried overdosing on Tylenol pills. Handful, but I survived. I wanted to die, but I survived. Threw up the next day for hours. I'm sorry that you felt that you needed to do that to yourself, beloved. Because you're so much more valuable alive than dead. When I feel like I've healed enough, it's always the next thing. That's because you're never fully healed. Doesn't what create division? You got to be more specific about your question. Doesn't what create division? Naira, you're just now realizing that? How we're creating division? How that I don't know. I need you to think on what you're asking me. At
Exactly what I said that PSA, Black Americans, all you need to do is stay out the way, do not pay attention to what's going on, and think. This is exactly what I meant by this. And you have to listen to the language that he's using.
This book is part of the reason why I would never drink alcohol again. I was already on my non-drinking journey, but after I read this joint, I said, yeah, I'm done.
On the other hand, I boast of it. It is my business to represent the negative side of everything, including the thoughts of you earthbound people.
Reading and listening to Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It's basically Napoleon Hill interviewing the devil, his shadow self, his ego, etc., etc. Exactly what I said that PSA, Black Americans, all you need to do is stay out the way, do not pay attention to what's going on, and think. This is exactly what I meant by this. And you have to listen to the language that he's using. This is the devil talking to Napoleon. Okay, listen to what he says. The opposition is God. Listen.
Then began a battle on my part to remain in control. So far, I have done quite well by myself. having lost only 2% of the people to the opposition.
I take it from your answer that men who think are your enemies. Is that right?
It is not right, but it is correct.
He said that's not right, but it's correct. And I made multiple videos talking about the difference between right and wrong and correct and incorrect. To be right means that you are inherently wrong because you're not correct. Period. To be incorrect means that you can be corrected because you're incorrect. Thinking is the best form of resistance.
It's kind of like stupid and ignorant. Stupid is you don't know, stupid is you don't know and don't want to know. Ignorant is you don't know, but you're willing to learn.
Thinking is the greatest form of resistance. You can think for yourself. You have the ability to think for yourself. Learn how to think for yourself.
And that's why they don't want to think. That's the reason why so many people got brain rot now, because they refuse to think. Everything's on this freaking Black Mirror of a box that's in your hand or put up onto your phone, put up to your head. People don't think anymore. They want everything to be done for them. And unfortunately, that is possible currently. We're moving into society to where that's what it's going to be. Everything's done for you. You don't have to think, but they're going to make it to where you can't. You will have nothing and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. I'll just say that. For entertainment purposes only. I've got to do that, I guess.
Stop paying attention to what they're telling you to think. We've all been told what to think since we came out the womb.
Yep.
Now become aware that you've been told what to think. Now become aware of what you're thinking. Now become aware of where did the thoughts that I'm thinking of come from? Are they even mine to begin with? Think. Become aware and think. Take your attention off of what is not serving you and put it onto what is serving you. Use your head and think. Reading and
you will not look at things the same after you watch this full video that I'm about to create for you guys. I read a little bit of this book already, Outwitting the Devil, and when I say you cannot unhear what you hear, you can't unsee the things you're gonna see, you know? So before we get into that, I want to get one more testimony of this book because I kept seeing a lot of people talking about it.
A new book recommendation, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, is one of the greatest books I've ever read in my life. Please, 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 please check this book out. This book is part of the reason why I would never drink alcohol again. I was already on my non-drinking journey, but after I read this joint, I said, yeah, I'm done. Napoleon Hill did a great job with this joint right here. It is timeless. He crafted a really interesting and fun conversation with the devil. And the devil talks about how he keeps people in his web, uses certain different vices to do so. He labels those people drifters, people who don't move with intention, people who are slave to their appetites. And then he talks about non-drifters. Those are people who are total opposite of drifters, for lack of better words. But great book. Please check it out. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I'm so happy I read this book. It came into my life at the perfect time, at a time where I really wanted to move with intention and change my life for the better. I feel like we're always improving. We're always looking to grow. Books like this, perfect book to read, especially when you really just want to go on that journey. So much love to y'all. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Want to recommend this joint to you guys. Have a good day.
All right, my boy Keith Powers, man. So what we gonna do, we gonna listen to this book, all right? Let's get into this because we don't want this video to be too long. I don't know if you're cleaning right now. I don't know if you're driving, but this part of the video is for purely listening. It's not gonna be a video. It's gonna be the audible, all right? I know a lot of us don't have time to read a book, so I'm gonna put a book in front of you and allow you to just hear the audio. So therefore, you have no excuse saying I had no time to sit down and read, all right? Let's open our minds and let's listen to this together. Listen, I found an easy way to make money on your phone. I've been telling y'all about it for a while now, and people have been sending me DMs of how much money they've been cashing out. So I'm gonna put one of them on the screen. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to Mandy Lil Slim Goody T on Instagram. Y'all go follow her. This is her Instagram right here. She basically says she made $500. She already cashed out $100. Y'all can read the messages right here. Now, I mean, and I basically asked her, hey, is it okay if I post this and all that? And here's her screenshots of her earnings and then how much she cashed out. All right. So the downside of this, because there got to be a downside, right? The downside is you have to play games on your phone. And I know a lot of people don't like to play games on your phone, but this is easy money. Now, I mean, so just try it out. And when you click my link Click the link in the description below or the link in the comment section below. You start out with a free $5. It's crazy every time I think about it. So just try it out. See if it's for you. An extra $100 could pay a bill or two. Know what I mean? And when you start making money, send me a screenshot of your cash out so I could give you a shout out on my podcast as well. All right, y'all, back to the video. Let's get into this, man.
Are you still up?
Here begins the interview with the devil. I have uncovered the secret code by which I can pick up your thoughts. I have come to ask you some very plain questions. I demand that you give me direct and truthful answers. Are you ready for the interview, Mr. Devil?
Yes, I am. But you must address me with more respect. During this interview, you will address me as Your Majesty.
By what right do you demand such royal respect?
You should know I control 98% of the people of your world. Do you not think that entitles me to rate as royalty?
Have you proof of your claim?
Yes, plenty of it.
Of what does your proof consist?
Of many things. If you want answers, you will address me as Your Majesty. Some things you will understand, some you will not. In order that you may get my viewpoint, I shall describe myself and correct the false notions people have of me and my place of abode.
That is a fine idea, Your Majesty. Start by telling me where you live, then describe your physical appearance.
My physical appearance? Why, my dear Mr. Earthbound, I have no physical body. I would be handicapped by such an encumbrance as those in which you earthbound creatures live. I consist of negative energy, and I live in the minds of people who fear me. I also occupy 1/2 of every atom of physical matter and every unit of mental and physical energy. Perhaps you will better understand my nature if I tell you I am the negative portion of the atom.
Oh, I see what you are preparing to claim. You are laying the foundation to say that if it were not for you, there would be no world, no stars, no electrons, no atoms, no human beings, nothing. Is that correct?
True. Absolutely true.
Well, if you only occupy 1/2 of energy and matter, who occupies the other half?
The other half is occupied by my opposition.
Opposition? What do you mean?
The opposition is what you earthbound call God.
So you have the universe divided up with God. Is that your claim?
Not my claim, but the actual fact. Before this interview is finished, you will understand why my claim is true. You will also understand why it has to be true, or there could be no world such as yours, no earthbound creatures such as you. I am no beast with a forked tongue and a spiked tail.
But you do control the minds of 98 out of every 100 people. You said so yourself. Who causes all the misery in this 98% devil-controlled world if you do not?
I have not said that I do not cause all the misery of the world. On the other hand, I boast of it. It is my business to represent the negative side of everything, including the thoughts of you earthbound people. How else could I control people? My opposition controls positive thought. I control negative thought.
How do you gain control of the minds of people?
Oh, that is easy. I merely move in and occupy the unused space of the human brain. I sow the seeds of negative thought in the minds of people so I can occupy and control the space.
You must have many tricks and devices by which you gain and hold control of the human mind.
To be sure, I employ tricks and devices to control human thought. My devices are clever ones, too.
Go ahead and describe your clever tricks, Your Majesty.
One of my cleverest devices for mind control is fear. I plant the seed of fear in the minds of people, and as these seeds germinate and grow, through use, I control the space they occupy. The 6 most effective fears are the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
Which of these 6 fears serves you most often, Your Majesty?
The first and the last, poverty and death. At one time or another during life, I tighten my grip on all people through one or both of these. I plant these fears in the minds of people so deftly that they believe them to be their own creation. I accomplish this end by making people believe I am standing just beyond the entrance gate of the next life, waiting to claim them after death for eternal punishment. Of course, I cannot punish anyone, except in that person's own mind, through some form of fear. But fear of the thing which does not exist is just as useful to me as fear of that which does exist. All forms of fear extend the space I occupy in the human mind.
Your Majesty, will you explain how you gained this control over human beings?
The story is too long to be told in a few words. It began over 1,000,000 years ago when the first man began to think. Up to that time I had control over all mankind, but enemies of mine discovered the power of positive thought, placed it in the minds of men, and then began a battle on my part to remain in control. So far I have done quite well by myself, having lost only 2% of the people to the opposition.
I take it from your answer that men who think are your enemies. Is that right?
It is not right, but it is correct.
Tell me something more about the world in which you live.
I live wherever I choose. Time and space do not exist for me. I am a force best described to you as energy. My favorite physical dwelling place, as I have told you, is in the minds of the earthbound. I control a part of the brain space of every human being. The amount of space I occupy in each individual's mind depends upon how little and what sort of thinking that person does. As I have told you, I cannot entirely control any person who thinks.
You speak of your opposition. Just what do you mean by that?
My opponent controls all the positive forces of the world, such as love, faith, hope, and optimism. My opponent also controls the positive factors of all natural law throughout the universe, the forces which keep the earth and the planets and all the stars balanced in their courses. But these forces are meek in comparison with those which operate in the human mind under my control.
Sorry, I'm thinking real quick. If the devil controls all the negative and his opposition controls the positive, so I already know how people are probably going to spin this. This whole damnation to hell that's fear in religion, or the Christian religion, when it comes down to all the negative things in religion, is it safe to say that religion is a duality between the devil and his opposition? Because I feel that if it was all positive, then that right there would be using his words, his opposition's domain. So ultimately, the devil has a hand in Christianity.
You see, I do not seek to control stars and planets. I prefer the control of human minds.
Where did you acquire your power, and by what means do you add to it?
I add to my power by appropriating the mind power of the earthbound as they come through the gate at the time of death. 98 out of every 100 who come back to my plane from the earth plane are taken over by me, and their mind power is added to my being. I get all who come over with any form of fear. You see, I am constantly at work, preparing the minds of people before death, so I can appropriate them when they come back to my plane.
Will you tell me how you go about your job of preparing human minds so you can control them?
I have countless ways of gaining control of human minds while they are still on the earth plane. My greatest weapon is poverty. I deliberately discourage people from accumulating material wealth because poverty discourages men from thinking and makes them easy prey for me. My next best friend is ill health. An unhealthy body discourages thinking. Then I have countless thousands of workers on Earth who aid me in gaining control of human minds. I have these agents placed in every calling. They represent every race and creed, every religion.
Who are your greatest enemies on Earth, Your Majesty?
All who inspire people to think and act on their own initiative are my enemies. Such men as Socrates, Confucius, Voltaire, Emerson, Thomas Paine, and Abraham Lincoln. And you are not doing me any good either.
I know the devil hates me. I know the devil hates me, because that's all we do on my channel. I'm going to make y'all think. We not walking around blind around here. Real quick, y'all, because I know this is from a book, from a man. So I have a scripture to back this up. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Wyatt Fitz, Hill talks about how the devil controls people through their thoughts if they don't discipline their mind. Paul literally says you must take control of your thoughts or they'll take control of you. This makes me think about all of the tricks and the finesses we've been taught growing up to believe that, oh, this is normal, or this is how you're supposed to think, this is how you're supposed to live. And you never question these things. You never see the why. You never see, well, who created this thought and now passed it down to me? You know, where is this all coming from? Why am I being obedient to something I never questioned? I don't really have full knowledge on it, but I'm listening to it. Where did it come from? Take control of your mind and actually think about these.
Like, gotta gather my words on this one. Since I've been small, when it came down to religion, I always asked questions. Why? Why? Like, I'm sure that to my mom and my stepdad, I sounded like Elmira from Animaniacs. Why? 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 My kids ask me why all the time, and I tell them. I tell them why. But I also encourage them to, if it's not something that will hurt them in any type of way, I encourage them to go find out themselves as well. I'll tell them why, because that's something that that's my point of view. Theirs may be a little different, but I'm always curious to know why. I'm the type of individual to where I need to understand why it's like this to really be able to piece it together. Because if I don't know why we're doing something, I cannot see the bigger picture. It's the same way to where when I'm putting a puzzle together. If I cannot see what the end goal is going to be, I don't know how to operate, where the next piece is going to go. So I need to have a goal in mind. And when I'm asking why, it's helping me understand what the goal is. And then with that, I can provide input as well. Now, as Ty Boogie was saying earlier, which, sorry, I paused it on such a bad frame for you. My bad, bruh. As Ty Boogie was saying earlier, we encourage people to think. We're living in a time where a lot of people don't think. And it's wild because I've said something multiple times in the past. I'm like, and I heard somebody who was over here yesterday, they ended up saying it last night. They said, and what I always said is, it's funny how people could easily believe a lie, but it takes so much evidence to show them the truth. It's so easy for people to believe and trust a lie, but it takes so much evidence to show them, to have them believe the truth. I'm like, it's wild. It's wild.
Things. Research about these things. Give you the second one real quick. God does not give the spirit of fear. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Why it fits. The opening of the book says fear is one of the devil's biggest tools. The Bible confirms fear doesn't come from God, meaning it comes from the opposite source. Exactly what Hill is teaching. So I just wanted to give.
The only thing that gets me with that is in the Bible. Well, I can't even say in the Bible. He's right. Because it's ultimately the religion that tries to spin off and do the whole Jesus thing. I'm not saying they're two different people because God isn't within all of us. I'm not even going to go there. But yeah, with that, God gives one and the other side of him, the other side gives the fear. Now, something to think about. What if God and the devil are just a duality? You know how, for example, everyone has two wolves inside of them constantly battling. Which one is the one that's the winner? The one that you feed the most. So what if you have God, but then you've also got the two different sides of him? So this one we're calling the devil, and then this one over here we're calling God, the all-seeing. But it's all the same person, because I mean, you think about it. In the Bible, Why is it that God was all loving, but yet at the same time he'll go and slaughter a whole freaking village? Like, there's got to be two sides. Two sides. I mean, think about it. He made us in his image. Not just how we look, but our characteristics and stuff too.
Yeah, that real quick. Just so y'all know that there's biblical scripture that is backing this stuff. But this is making it a lot more practical when you hear it like this, which is why I enjoyed it so much.
Is it true that you use men who have great wealth?
As I have already told you, poverty is always my friend because it discourages independence of thought and encourages fear in the minds of men. Some wealthy men serve my cause, while others do me great damage, depending on how the wealth is used. The great Rockefeller fortune, for example, is one of my worst enemies.
That is interesting, Your Majesty. Will you tell me why you fear the Rockefeller fortune more than others?
The Rockefeller money is being used to isolate and conquer diseases of the physical body in all parts of the world. Disease has always been one of my most effective weapons. The fear of ill health is second only to the fear of poverty. The Rockefeller money is uncovering new secrets of nature in 100 different directions, all of which are designed to help men take and keep possession of their own minds. It is encouraging new and better methods of feeding, clothing, and housing people. It is wiping out the slums in the large cities, the places where my favorite allies are found. It is financing campaigns for better government and helping to wipe out dishonesty in politics. It is helping to set higher standards in business practice and encouraging businessmen to conduct business by the golden rule. And that is not doing my cause any good.
What about these boys and girls who are said to be on the road to hell? Are you in control of them?
Well, I can answer that question only with yes and no. I have corrupted the minds of the young by teaching them to drink and smoke, but they have me baffled through their tendency to think for themselves.
You say you have corrupted the minds of the young people with liquor and cigarettes. I can understand how liquor might destroy the power of independent thought, but do not see what cigarettes have to do with helping your cause.
You may not know it, but cigarettes break down the power of persistence. They destroy the power of endurance. They destroy the ability to concentrate. They deaden and undermine the imaginative faculty, and help in other ways to keep people from using their minds most effectively. Do you know I have millions of people, young and old of both sexes, who smoke 2 packages of cigarettes a day? That means I have millions of people who are gradually destroying their power of resistance. One day I shall add to their habit of cigarette smoking other thought-destroying habits, until I shall have gained control of their minds. Habits come in pairs, triplets, and quadruplets. Any habit which weakens one's willpower invites a flock of its relatives to move in and take possession of the mind. The cigarette habit not only lowers the power of resistance and discourages persistence, but it invites looseness in other human relationships.
I never thought that cigarettes were a tool of destruction, Your Majesty, but your explanation throws a different light on the subject. How many converts to the habit do you now claim?
I am proud of my record. Millions are now victims, and the number is increasing daily. Soon I shall have most of the world indulging in the habit. In thousands of families I now have followers of the habit, including every member of the family. Very young boys and girls are beginning to take up the habit. They are learning how to smoke by observing their parents and older brothers and sisters.
Which do you consider to be your greater tool for gaining control of human minds, cigarettes or liquor?
Without hesitation, I would say cigarettes. Once I get a young person to join my 2-package-a-day club, I have no trouble in inducing that person to take on the habit of liquor, overindulgence of sex, and all other related habits which destroy independence of thought and action.
Your Majesty, when I began this interview, I had you...
When I hear that, you know, this book is pretty old. Like, this book is, like, really old. When I hear that whole cigarette portion, right, it makes me think about how smoking, how normalized smoking is today, you know, and how people would justify smoking. And, you know, if you smoke, that's your world, right? But you think about how easy it is to smoke nowadays and how altering it is to your brain. You think about vapes, the stuff they put in vapes now. You think about smoking weed, the new stuff that's getting put in the weed. Like, you just think about all this and how it just alters your brain, and then you hear this, it just makes you kind of think, like, wait a minute, am I falling for some type of trap right now? Like, you know, like, I don't know. It just makes me think there. Just want you guys to open your brain and just maybe consider that. And comment below what you think about
All
that.
wrong. I thought you were a fraud and a fake, but I see now that you are quite real and very powerful.
Your apology is accepted, but you need not have bothered. Millions of people have questioned my power, and I got most of them at the gate as they came over. I ask no person to believe in me. I prefer that people fear me. I am no beggar. I take what I want by cleverness and force. Begging people to believe is the business of my opposition, not mine.
Your Majesty will please pardon my rudeness, but I would not be able to look myself in the face again if I did not tell you, here and now, that you are the damnedest fiend ever to be turned loose on innocent people. I always had the wrong conception of you. I thought you were kind enough to let people alone while they were living, that you merely tortured their souls after death. Now I learn from your own brazen confession that you destroy their right to freedom of thought and cause them to go through a living hell on earth. What do you have to say to that?
I get what I want by exercising self-control. It is not so good for my own business, but I suggest you emulate me instead of criticizing me. You call yourself a thinker, and you are. Otherwise you would never have forced this interview on me. But you will never be the sort of thinker that frightens me unless you gain and exercise greater control over your own emotions.
Let us get away from
Damn.
personalities. I came...
Oh, snap. Emotional intelligence. That part right there. Ooh, I know Ty gonna say something on that.
here to learn more about you, not to discuss myself. Please go ahead and tell me of the many tricks you have devised for gaining control of the human mind. What is your most powerful weapon just now?
That is a difficult question to answer.
Gaining power over your own emotions. I feel like that
Told
has been
you.
like the word of my channel
told
this
you.
month. It's just that us as men, we need to be very much logically sound. But being emotionally sound and aware of our emotions can save us from so much turmoil. Because for a lot of us, anger is the only place that we feel like we're allowed to be emotional. But how much wreckage does anger create? Which is why being emotionally just aware, you know, and same thing for the ladies, you know, whatever you got going on in your life, be emotionally aware, because as you can see, your emotional negligence is something that the devil could possibly be using against you.
Have so many devices for entering human minds and controlling them that it is difficult to say which are the most powerful. Right at the moment, I am trying to bring about another world war. My friends here in Washington are helping me to involve America in the war. If I can start the world to killing on a wholesale basis, I shall be able to put into operation my favorite device for mind control. It is what you call mass fear. I used this device to bring about the other world war in 1914. I used it to bring about the economic depression in 1929. And if my opposition had not double-crossed me, I would now be in possession of every man, woman, and child in the world. You can see for yourself how near I came to world domination, the thing I have been struggling to attain for thousands of years.
Yes, I see your point. Who wouldn't? You are a very ingenious manipulator of the minds of people. Is your devilish business carried on only through people of high position and great influence?
Oh, no. I use the minds of people in all walks of life. As a matter of fact, I prefer the type of person who makes no pretense of thinking. I can manipulate that sort of person without difficulty. I could not control 98% of the people of the world if all people were skilled in thinking for themselves.
I'm interested in the welfare of those people whom you claim to control. Therefore, I wish you to tell me all of the tricks by which you enter and control their minds. I want a complete confession from you, so begin with your cleverest trick.
This is suicide you are forcing on me, but I am helpless. So settle down, and I will place in your hands the weapon by which millions of your fellow earthbound will defend themselves against me.
Tell me first about your most clever trick, the one you use to ensnare the greatest number of people.
If you force me to give away this secret, it will mean my loss of millions of people now living, and still greater numbers of millions as yet unborn. I beg of you, Permit me to pass this one question unanswered.
So His Majesty the Devil
Answer the
fears a
question.
mere humble earthbound creature? Is that
We need
right?
the
It
answers.
is not right, but it is true. You have no right to rob me of my most necessary tool of trade. For millions of years I have dominated earthbound creatures through fear and ignorance. Now you come along and would destroy my use of these weapons by forcing me to tell how I use them.
Yeah.
Do you not realize that you will break my grip on every person who heeds this confession you are forcing from me?
Yep.
Have you
Everybody
no
pay attention.
mercy?
Right?
Have you no sense of humor? Have you no sportsmanship?
Stop stalling and start confessing. Who are you to ask mercy of one whom you would destroy if you could? Who are you to talk of sportsmanship and a sense of humor? You, who by your own confession have set up a living hell on earth, where you punish innocent people through their fears and ignorance. As for minding my own business, that is just what I'm doing when I force you to tell how you control people through their own minds. My business, if it can be called a business, is helping to unlock the doors of the self-made prisons in which men and women are confined because of the fears you have planted in their minds.
My greatest weapon over human beings consists of two secret principles by which I gain control of their minds. I will speak first of the principle of habit, through which I silently enter the minds of people. By operating through this principle, I establish, I wish I could avoid using this word, the habit of drifting. When a person begins to drift on any subject, he is headed straight toward the gates of what you earthbound call hell.
Describe all the ways in which you induce people to drift.
This is
Define the
interesting.
word and tell us exactly what you mean by it.
I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. He would rather let me occupy his mind and do his thinking than go to the trouble of thinking for himself. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. He doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all of his time getting just that. A drifter has lots of opinions, but they are not his own. Most of them are supplied by me. A drifter is one who is too lazy mentally to use his own brain. That is the reason I can take control of people's thinking and plant my own ideas in their minds.
I think I understand what a drifter is. Tell me the exact habits of people by which you induce them to drift through life. Start by telling me when and how you first gained control of a person's mind.
My control over the mind of a human being is obtained while the person is young. Sometimes I lay the foundation for my control of a mind before the owner of it is born, by manipulating the minds of that person's parents. Sometimes I go further back than this and prepare people for my control through what you earthbound call physical heredity. You see, therefore, I have two approaches to the mind of a person.
Yes. Go on, and describe these two doors by which you enter and control the minds of human beings.
As I have stated, I help to bring people into your world with weak brains by giving to them before birth as many as possible of the weaknesses of their ancestors. You call this principle physical heredity. After people are born, I make use of what you earthbound call environment as a means of controlling them. This is where the principle of habit enters. The mind is nothing more than the sum total of one's habits. One by one, I enter the mind and establish habits, which lead finally to my absolute domination of the mind.
I gotta get this.
Tell me of the most common habits by which you
I
control
gotta
the
get
minds
this
of
book.
people.
That is one of my cleverest tricks. I enter the minds of people through thoughts which they believe to be their own. Those most useful to me are fear, superstition, avarice, greed, lust, revenge, anger, vanity, and plain laziness. Through one or more of these, I can enter any mind, at any age. But I get my best results when I take charge of a mind while it is young, before its owner has learned how to close any of these 9 doors. Then I can set up habits which keep the doors ajar forever.
I'm catching on to your methods. Now, let us go back to the habit of drifting. Tell us all about that habit, since you say it is your cleverest trick in controlling the minds of people.
As I said before, I start people drifting during their youth. I induce them to drift through school without knowing what occupation they wish to follow in life. Here I catch the majority of people. Habits are related. Drift in one direction, and soon you will be drifting in all directions. I also use environmental habits to give me a definite grip on my victims.
I see. You make it your business to train children in the habit of drifting by inducing them to go through school without aim or purpose. Now, tell me of some of your other tricks with which you cause people to become drifters.
Well, my second best trick in developing the habit of drifting is one that I put into operation with the aid of parents and public school teachers and religious instructors. I warn you not to force me to mention this trick. Do not disclose this trick. If you do so, you will be hated by my coworkers who help me use this trick. If you publish this confession in book form, your book will be barred from the public schools. It will be blacklisted by most of the religious leaders. It will be hidden from children by many parents. The newspapers will not dare to give reviews of your book. Millions of people will hate you for writing the book. In fact, no one will like you or your book except those who think, and you know how very few there are of this sort. My advice to you is to let me skip the description of my second best trick.
So, for my own good, you wish to withhold the description of your second best trick. No one will like my book except those who think, eh? Very well. Go ahead and answer.
You'll regret this, Mr. Earthbound, but the joke is on you. By this mistake of yours, you will divert attention from me to yourself. My co-workers, of whom there are millions, will forget about me and hate you for uncovering my methods.
Never mind about me. Tell me all about this second best trick of yours with which you induce people to drift with you to hell.
My second best trick is not second at all. It is first. It is first because without it I never could gain control of the minds of the youths. Parents, school teachers, religious instructors, and many other adults unknowingly serve my purpose by helping me to destroy in children the habit of thinking for themselves. They go about their work in various ways, never suspecting what they are doing to the minds of children